Portal. Current events portal talk language watch view source. Worldwide current events sports events recent deaths entry views by week list today's most viewed articles topics in the news. Anita Demetriou the Democratic rally led by Anita Demetriou pictured wins the most seats in the Cypriot legislative election. American jazz saxophonist Sonny Rollins dies at the age of 95. In auto racing, Felix Rosenquist wins the Indianapolis 500. A suicide bombing targeting a shuttle train in Quetta, Balochistan, Pakistan kills at least 47 people. In association football, the Women's Champions League concludes with Barcelona defeating OL Lions in the final. Ongoing. Central Africa Ebola epidemic Iran war, Lebanon war, Russo-Ukrainian war timeline Sudanese civil war timeline recent deaths. Gunter Hampel Jules Top Robert Woodson Alexander Held Peter Hollingworth Kyle Busch nominated article May 29th, 2026 Friday edit the story watch armed conflicts and attacks. 2026 Iran war Iran state TV says that Iran shot down an American aircraft near the Jam area in the Bushehr province. However, the U.S. Central Command has denied such claim, stating that no U.S. aircraft was shot down. Reuters, Middle East May 28th, 2026, Thursday. Edit the story watch armed conflicts and attacks. Middle Eastern crisis 2026 Iran war 2025 to 2026 Iran United States negotiations 2026 Iran war ceasefire Axios reports that American and Iranian negotiators have agreed to a deal to extend the ceasefire. AP Axios Reuters. 2026 Strait of Hormuz crisis U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that Oman will not participate in imposing tolls on ships and vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz after previously threatening to impose sanctions against them. Earlier in the day, if they were to join Iran in doing so, AAF TV of the Straits Times. Kuwait in the 2026 Iran war, the Kuwaiti military says that they have activated air defenses to intercept a missile along with drones. AP. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps says that it targeted an American base in Kuwait in retaliation for the recent U.S. strikes near Bandar Abbas, including yesterday's. AA 2026 Lebanon war 2026 Israel-Lebanon ceasefire. At least 19 people, including 2 children, are killed from Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon as Israel intensifies its assault and issues mass displacement orders across the region. The Israeli military indicates that it is a targeted attack, while Israeli media specifies that it was against Iranian militias. Al Jazeera, BBC News. Gaza war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu orders Israeli forces to take control of 70% of the Gaza Strip. Financial Times. An Israeli military air raid kills 10 people, including 4 children, in northern Gaza. Al Jazeera. The Israeli military announces that it has assassinated Ihab Krizim, the leader of the Central Hamas Funds Transfer Network, in a strike in the Khan Yunis area of the Gaza Strip in Palestine. BBC News. The Jerusalem Post. Russo-Ukrainian war violations of non-combatant airspace during the Russo-Ukrainian war. Russian drone enters Romanian airspace during an attack on Ukraine and crashes into an apartment building in Gowdy, causing a fire and injuring 2 people. AFP and CBS News. Colombian conflict clashes between FARC dissidents kill at least 48 people in Guaviare, Colombia, amid ongoing disputes over territorial and criminal control. AFTV and News. Terrorism in Switzerland. 3 people are injured in a mass stabbing at a train station in Winterthur, Switzerland. The perpetrator is arrested and authorities declare the attack as an act of terrorism. BBC News. NBC News. Disasters and accidents. 16 students are killed and 79 others injured in a fire in a dormitory at a girls' school in Gilgil, Nakuru County, Kenya. BBC News. 13 people are killed and 3 others are injured when an overloaded passenger bus crashes into a large truck in Henan, China. Reuters. 5 people are killed while 22 others are injured after a truck overturns on a mountain road in Kabayan, Benguet, Philippines. Xinhua. At least 3 people are killed, 4 others are injured, and 11 more are reported missing in an explosion at an apartment building in Dallas, Texas, United States. The Guardian. Newsweek. Health and Environment. 2026 Central Africa Ebola epidemic. World Health Organization Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus visits the Democratic Republic of the Congo and states that the Ebola outbreak can still be contained. AFP via France 24. DW. MV Hondius hantavirus outbreak. The European Union receives a shipment of favipiravir for potential use against hantavirus infections. AA Brussels Times. International relations. International reactions to the Gaza war. Israel and the United Nations. Israel announces it will cut ties with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and his office in response to the United Nations, adding the country to its blacklist of countries and organizations that employ wartime sexual violence. New York Times. The Council of the European Union. Sanctions for Israeli settler organizations and 3 settler leaders for their roles in the increasing settler violence in the occupied West Bank. Simultaneously, they expand existing sanctions for members of the Hamas's political bureau. Al Jazeera. Reuters. Law and crime. Terrorism in Australia. The Melbourne Magistrates Court in Victoria, Australia, charges 34-year-old Islamic State bride Rain El Hawley, who recently returned from Syria, for being a member of a terrorist organization after joining the Islamic State after traveling there in the early 2010s. ABC Australia. AFP via France 24. Terrorism in Brazil.
United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio designados primeiro comando da capital AN Comando Vermelho, da TWO Biggest Drug Trafficking Related Criminal Organizations in Brazil, as foreign terrorist groups, Al Jazeera, AP via da Washington Post.
Politics and elections. The Latvian Sejm approves a 4-party coalition government led by Prime Minister Andris Kulberts after Ieva Kasilin's administration collapsed following disputes over the handling of suspected Ukrainian drones entering Latvian airspace. Al Jazeera. AP Sports. 2026 FIFA World Cup. Canada, Mexico, and the United States announce coordinated travel health measures for travelers arriving from Ebola-affected areas in Central and Eastern Africa ahead of the FIFA World Cup. CBC Reuters.